By January of 1969, Elton John and Bernie Taupin had spent a year and a half living with Elton's mother and her new husband. The two spent all their time writing songs, with 21-year-old Elton handling the melodies and 19-year-old Bernie taking care of the lyrics.
I'm just a purveyor, basically, of Bernie's feelings, Bernie's thoughts. I'm a musical mouthpiece for his lyrics, which I love.
I'm not around to be spot on, locked up in this room.
Believe me, there was hundreds of songs written in that room, you know. That was a time and place of great, great output.
The result of their musical labors appeared on Elton's 1969 debut album, Empty Sky.
The next number we're going to do is one of my personal favourites that we've written so far, and it's called The Border Song.
The following year, Elton John's self-titled second album arrived in America.
Oh, that Mosaic, I've been removed.
All of a sudden, here comes the Elton John album. Everybody came into my office. They all sat on the floor, played this incredible album, and we all flipped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, a few months ago, a young man came over from England, and he shot right to the top of the pop music field. His first album is a hit, his first single is a hit, and I hate it. No, I really like it. I mean, I really like it. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Elton John.
In January of '71, Elton's first U.S. single, Your Song, cracked the top 10 in America. Reggie Dwight's transformation was complete. Elton John was now a star.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside.
During that first 2 or 3 years of success, which was unbelievable, I just couldn't believe it was happening to me.
Elton embarked on his first world tour in the spring of '71. By the tour's end, he had 4 albums in the top 40.
Burn down the mission, Lord, if we're gonna stay alive.
As the hits kept coming, Elton was changing. He grew increasingly confident on stage.
And it shall believe on, and it shall be a good man.
But in 1971, the most profound change in Elton's life could not be seen on stage. That year, he fell in love with a man for the first time. The man was Elton's manager, John Reid.
It was my first ever relationship, physically anyway. First person I ever lived with John for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, how it feels so real, lying here with no one near, only you.
Coming to terms with his feelings for Reid proved surprisingly easy for Elton.
But John was never really that comfortable about coming out as such, as a relationship. It was, plus the fact he was managing me as well.
In many ways, they were a perfect combination because they had similar personalities, both gay, both very flamboyant, both very up for spending money, partying, having a really good time.
Elton's private circle knew about the relationship, but they kept it a secret from the public.
That's a tough thing to go with, you know, to be all the time living one thing and being something completely different.
In May of '72, Elton's single Rocket Man blasted the album Honky Chateau all the way to #1. The first in a string of 7 consecutive #1 albums that he would score over the next 4 years.
And it means me, you lived your life like a candle in the
At that point, he was really busting out. I mean, we were all working incredibly hard. It was like tour album.
Once you're on a roll, you couldn't stop, you know. It got to this point where everything was coming in at #1, and the only dangerous thing about that is you assume that everything else should come in at #1.
From 1972 to 1975, everything the boy from Pinner touched turned to gold, and the more successful Elton John got, the more outrageous his public persona became.
When he came out of the Hollywood Bowl in that white, feather deal, it was like, oh, I sense something in the wind here.
it got too much in the end. I mean, initially, you know what happened. It was just, it was instinct. It was spur of the moment. It was fun.
Decked out in full rock regalia, Elton John had become pop music royalty.
We were on such a roll, being, you know, successful and rubbing shoulders with people that you idolized when you were growing up, and you were playing with them and you were meeting them. You were on such a high.
When are you gonna come down? When are you going to land?
But the rush of superstardom soon gave way to a different kind of high.
No, I'd always been sort of goody-goody in my life, and, you know, I didn't know my band smoked dope. I didn't know they did coke. And I said, oh, let me try it, and that was it. And I thought, oh, this is great, and I'm taking a drug. Wow. I would have been very shy, but the dark glasses were really a shield. I could hide behind them, and I thought with coke, this is great. You know, I can talk to people. So I thought, this is the answer to all my problems.
Coming up, Elton's second try at suicide.
It's a cry for help, isn't it? It's all a cry for help. It's like, look at me, I'm really unhappy. Can you do something about it? Because if you don't, I'm going to be dead.
And later, Elton comes out before the world.
I remember thinking, this could hurt, you know, and it did.
I thought everybody knew anyway. I mean, God knows, you know, you always know when an entertainer's gay.
In the course of 5 whirlwind years, Elton John had become the biggest rock star in the world, and in the summer of '75, his 12th album made history.
I had the first ever album to come in the Billboard charts at #1, which was Captain Fantastic.
As soon as that happened, we went, oh, we're in trouble now, you know, because where do you go from one? And then the next album we had out was Rock of the Westies, and that went in first week at #1 too, and we thought, now we're really in trouble.
With Rock of the Westies, Elton scored his 7th #1 album in a row. But success had its downside.
Money and fame equals power. And power can equal corruption. It allows you to indulge yourself to whatever level you care to indulge yourself.
What am I gonna do to make you love me?
Elton's drug use was increasing.
What have I gotta do to make you care?
His 4-year romance with his manager, John Reid, ended.
What do I do when lightning strikes me?
And for Elton, 5 years of sellout concerts and gold records felt like a hollow victory.
I was at the height of my can't do any wrong thing, and yet my personal life wasn't very happy. I mean, I'd done an awful lot of work. I mean, an incredible amount of work in 5 years, and maybe I was getting burnt out.
Sorry seems to be the hardest word.
In the fall of '75, Elton was booked for a triumphant return to the scene of his stunning debut in America. Shortly after his 5th anniversary concert at the Troubadour, Elton's personal crisis reached a breaking point.
I tried to end my life, as it were, with 80 Valiums.
It was Elton's 2nd suicide attempt in 8 years.
It's a cry for help, isn't it? It's all a cry for help. It's, again, it's like, look at me, I'm really unhappy. Can you do something about it? Because if you don't, I'm going to be dead. And I had no intention of killing myself whatsoever.